And his name is Klay Mother Bleeping Thompson. The Dallas Mavericks win 143-133 in a shootout over the Golden State Warriors. We'll break down this epic game, all coming up next here on the Dallas Mavs postgame show. Here we go. Hey, what's up, Dlls Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella, and our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. We are Dlls Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single game night at Kevin Gray Sports, at Tim_Cato, at Bobby Carella. You can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. The Mavericks win an epic shootout over the Golden State Warriors, 143-133. Luka Doncic tonight, 45 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists. Klay Thompson, a season-high 29 points as the Dallas Mavericks and Golden State Warriors combined for the most made three-pointers in a game in NBA history. But your Mavericks prevail as they have now won 12 of their last 14 games to take what was a terrific offensive game tonight in the Bay Area, 143-133. We'll break it all down here for you over the next hour. Plus, really appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe while you are here, as well as, gentlemen, the Mavericks, who had several days off, get back on the floor tonight. It was a three-point barrage in the Bay tonight, but the Mavericks, Tim Cato, come out on the right side of what was a terrific basketball game tonight.
Tanner, I think we need to update that score bug. The Warriors just hit another three.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so another one just went in. But no, that was some of the, that was literally the best three-point shooting game in NBA history between the two. The most combined threes ever made in an NBA game.
Historic night.
Yeah, Bobby's gonna have a bunch more stats about just how historic it is, but man, what a fantastic win for Dallas. We can talk about the defense. At times it wasn't quite good enough. I thought, especially in the first half, a lot of the threes were just going down for Golden State. It's kind of, the bend don't break defense, and the offense allowed that bend don't break to, lead to a win. So good win, good to get back on track. Fun game, really fun to watch in a lot of ways. Even Lindy Waters was going off.
Lindy Waters
was
losing his mind out there. The dude was unbelievable. That was the kind of game, though, like, it really just makes me feel alive. Like, there have been
greatest night of your life, potentially.
It's up there. It's a contender. No, the Mavs have had some wins this year where they've just destroyed the other team, and it's been like fun and cool, and blowouts are nice. They've had some wins that were really close and really kind of like you're clenching the whole time, and then the buzzer sounds so you can finally like relax for a little bit. That game was like drugs. That game was crazy from start to finish. It was really, really kind of out of control, and then it was awesome, and it was super skilled, and then it was no defense, then there was a lot of defense, and then it was like Draymond's going off at both ends of the floor, and it's like, what is going on, And then you look up, and at the end of the night, Klay has 29 and missed a free throw at the end. Otherwise, he would have had 30. And you're like, where the hell did that come from? Like, that game was just completely incredible, and I got takes about that, too, that we can get into. But, yeah, it was just a lot of fun, Marc.
Listen, there's a lot of teams in this league who do not love what's happened with the NBA Cup scheduling and the many wrenches it has thrown into their scheduling. From the Mavs perspective, I think they have loved this extended break they're getting. They've had so many health issues. They've needed the extended break. However, when Houston ended up winning that quarterfinal game by a point, which, again, you look at the score on the scoreboard tonight, what was it at halftime, 81-74?
That's right.
So there was 91-90 final the other night. When Golden State ends up losing that game, the Mavs go from having a home game against Houston to now having to go to the Bay Area for the second time in basically a month, 30 days and change. Had the Mavs not had to take this trip, I mean, they basically would have been home from Wednesday through Christmas, which they would have naturally relished. But to have to get on a plane, they took a couple days off, got in a couple good practices, but to go all the way to Golden State, avenge one of the more frustrating nights of the season. Remember, the Golden State loss was in that stretch of 3, 4, one-possession losses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to end up being a dream script for the Mavs to go to Golden State, win. Klay has just a beautiful homecoming game return, the kind of game that he'll be able to float back to Dallas after nearly going for 30, right? He just fell just shy.
Yeah, 29.
Buddy, he's not floating. He's sailing. Come on.
Sailing.
There you go.
Sailing all the way back.
Is that Craig
Well
Ludwig
played.
in the chat, by the way? Is that Craig
Is
Ludwig?
that Luds in the
Luds
chat?
in the Mavs chat? Let's go, Luds.
Let's go.
Is it really?
I think so.
Verified?
Yeah.
Let's go,
Hey,
Luds.
let's go, Luds.
I mean, only Luds would be talking about,
Shout out to our DLS Mavs Stars podcast, man.
Wow.
Best hockey podcast in the business today. Shout out to our guy, Craig Ludwig.
And what I'll say is the other thing about all the rest and Dallas now. I mean, they'll stay over. They stay over on the West Coast.
No.
Are they coming back?
Because I was so excited to see Craig Ludwig in there that I lost my train of thought. Because this game started at 5:30 Cali time,
Oh, that's a good point.
they are actually coming back tonight.
Okay.
So they're going to get back late tonight.
They'll
But
land at like 3:30 or 4.
that late? I mean, if they're out in an hour,
They won't get to the airport. Yeah.
I mean, I guess
They'll take
but,
off 11:30.
But they're just like they want to get back. Like
Yeah,
again, they
sure.
were rooting for the home game, but because this 5:30 start in the Bay Area, they just decided, you know what, we're going to pack up, we're going to come home, get home. So, I presume they'll have to take tomorrow off after getting in late, but it's a long-winded way of saying this ended up being a really good stretch of rest and now a break until Thursday night till they
three more days of rest.
till they
and-
play the baseball series against the Clippers. And so again, to have just this one weird game in faraway San Francisco and to put together such a good win, huge for them on a lot of levels.
Can I jump in with that take? You and I were talking about this, Tim.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there was so much time off before this game for the Mavs. They last played on Tuesday. The Warriors last played on Wednesday. So both of these teams super well rested. The Mavs were missing guys. Like there were guys that were out, but both teams were fresh, and the game was awesome. The jumpers looked great. The pace was frenetic, but it never seemed like guys were outside of one stretch in the third quarter where there was no stoppage of play at all for like an hour and a half. Guys never seemed tired. Like it seemed like a great high skill, high energy, high octane basketball game.
Luka was hella fresh tonight. He looked great tonight.
And that just makes me think, like, wouldn't it be sick if we got this all the time? Like the NBA crams so many games. They're playing 4 or 5 games a week. What if you played like 2 games a week? This would be every game.
Yeah.
Like how fun was that? So it just kind of makes me pine for better days ahead, because at some point they'll get the schedule figured out. But I mean, honestly, like that was just such a fun game to watch. Obviously, it's better because the Mavs won, but it was just, I mean, again, so much skill, so much energy.
But people don't like threes, I thought. People don't like watching threes.
It's good when they go in.
Yeah, it's
good
great when it goes in.
But like, there was stretches where the defense was very mid at best by both teams. But like for the most part, this is just an incredible shot making game. It was an incredible shot making game. It was awesome to watch.
Mavericks now 17-9 on the season. Marc Stein will love this statistic. Klay Thompson now in 2 games versus his old team is now 13 of 23 from the 3-point line against the Golden State Warriors. As Klay Thompson went 7 of 11 from downtown for his season high 29 points. The Mavericks' big 3 tonight, that is Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson combined for 95 of the buck 43 that the Mavericks scored tonight over the Golden State Warriors. Luka Doncic, there's a lot of numbers from tonight's game, a lot of historic numbers from tonight's game that we'll go throughout the course of the show. But here's another one. Luka Doncic, his 48th career 30-point triple-double now ties him for second all time. And you know who's number 1 on that list? with 30-point triple doubles.
Oscar Robertson, probably.
Yeah, with 100.
yeah.
With
Oh, yeah,
106.
yeah,
So it's like, I don't know if it's a trick question if it's Russ or
No. He's tied with Russ though. Luka Doncic is now tied with Russ for the most second most triple doubles with 30-point games of all time. But yeah, Oscar Robertson has 106 of those in the course of his career.
Not bad.
By the way, the 48 3-pointers tonight, the most combined made 3-pointers in the history of the association. Incredible shot making throughout the course of this game. Warriors had 5 guys in double figures, including Andrew Wiggins, who had 29 points. Steph Curry had 26 points in the loss. But gentlemen, you started to allude to it. Just the sheer shot making that we saw from both teams tonight. Hell, Draymond Green came off the bench and knocked down his first 3 threes of the game. Like, you knew something was up when Draymond Green got into the game and knocked down what was 4 of his first 5 3-pointers that he took. The barrage of 3-point shooting from both teams was just simply incredible tonight.
Yeah, and let me, because you bring up Draymond, I do want to point out that this is in a lot of ways how Dallas's defense works. Dallas's defense, they want to stop you from getting the rim. They want to pack the paint. They want people near, in the paint, near the rim, stopping you. This isn't something the Warriors do. They're not a team that thrives at the rim. So Dallas is still going to prevent you from getting there as often as they can. They're still going to shade help. They're still going to, rotate any time that you get past and you're driving. That's going to leave corner shooters open. And Dallas goes out of their way. They like to double stars. They like to send help at stars. They weren't going to let Steph Curry get a bunch of shots, and obviously he did because he's Steph Curry, and he just gets shots off. But, they were very okay, going into pretty much every game. They're okay with the Draymond Greens of the world taking corner threes, especially early on, just to see if they can make them. They're okay with Gary Payton. Like, even late in the game, even when the Warriors were going, they probably had like 22 threes at the time, Dallas was still leaving Gary Payton alone in the corner. That was how their defense was set up. So the defense, yes, they started bending a little bit, realizing Draymond, this is not a night that Draymond can be left alone. He can't be dared to shoot. There are still daring players to shoot. Doesn't matter, the players who hadn't earned it yet. That said, when you have a defense like this, when you skew towards stars, when you leave, corners open, sometimes you're going to run into a team that does something like this. Now, usually you're not going to run into a team that makes 27. But there is some reason why Dallas kind of led to a defensive performance. In a lot of ways, it was the defense working as intended. It's just that you don't intend for a team to have an offensive performance like the Warriors just did tonight.
And the Mavericks and Warriors both shot the lights. And in fact, the offense that you saw just in the first half alone, the Warriors tied an NBA record making 18 threes in the first half. The Mavericks had their 5th 70-point plus first half as well this season. The 81 points that the Mavericks scored in the first half were the most that they have had so far this year, and the most in a first half since March of 2022 for the Mavericks, shooting 60% from the field, 48% from 3. Warriors shot 49% from the field and 56% from 3 in the first half. It was just incredible shot making, and one of the statistics that I found most pleasing for me, especially coming out of the first half, because we'll break down the rest of the game as it goes on, the Mavericks had 23 assists on their 29 made field goals in the first half, in a first half that they led by as many as 19. I know Bobby Krella was loving the passing and the humming of the basketball tonight as the Mavericks were just moving the basketball quite a bit throughout the course of the first half.
The stat that I care about the most is that there's more than 500 people watching right now.
Whoa!
Really?
Let's
Up
go!
late with us.
Sunday
Yeah.
night.
Let's
Yeah.
go!
Forget about work tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's people watching from all over the world, as always. Hey,
Tell
let
your
us know where you're
friends.
watching.
Well,
let
yeah,
us
let
know
me
where you're watching
Text a
from.
friend to ask him to join us. Let's go for 1,000.
Do
Let's
you
do
know?
it.
Do you know a friend who's a Mavs fan who's not watching right now? You're a bad friend if you don't tell them.
Yeah,
Tell them
save a
to
life.
get in.
They shouldn't be in your life if they're not watching right now.
Save a life. Let them know.
You better fix that.
You're going to want to hear what's coming up on the other side of the break. It's going to
fact.
be good. I don't know what it is
What a
yet, but it's going to be
tease.
good.
I'm just as curious.
Well, coming
So
up
am I.
here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show, the turning point in this game, the moments and plays that define how the Mavericks
We might
got
just
this.
read the Knife's tweets. I think that should be a whole segment.
Or Marc might read Naji Marshall's tweets.
The knife!
From tonight's game as well. Plus, we'll dial up the Stein line a little bit later on in our show as well. All that and more coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show.
I love the holidays, but with how busy they are and how busy I am and how busy everybody is around this time, I'm always looking for ways to stress less, and HelloFresh helps make mealtime manageable, saving me from searching for recipes or all that grocery shopping. Just pick your meals and everything you need is delivered right to your door. There's always something for everyone to enjoy on HelloFresh's weekly menu, which is really important for me because I'm picky and I get tired of stuff if I have it too often. But with 50 chef-crafted recipes that you can choose from every week, plus customizable options to make your meals just the way you like them, you'll be able to easily satisfy every single craving. Me, no mushrooms, but me, extra meat. And I also like green beans, so is there any way to swap those out? Dude, they got you set. No matter what you want, they have you set at HelloFresh. Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/free-Mavs. Applied across 7 boxes. New subscribers only, and it varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/free-Mavs. That's why HelloFresh, folks, is America's #1 meal kit.
Let me talk to you about goals for just a minute. When it comes to Constant Contact, how are you tracking your goals for the ones that you set for your business earlier this year? Are you close? And if not, do you know that why you haven't hit them so far this year? I know why you haven't hit them, because you don't have Constant Contact. With Constant Contact, of course, you have your year-end goals, just like we have our year-end goals here, where we want to hit 12,000 subscribers before the end of the year here on DLS Sports. So Constant Contact has what it takes to help you meet them faster. No matter how experienced you are with digital marketing, Constant Contact has the tools to make your marketing run that much smoother. You can own the smartphone by adding texting to your marketing strategy as well, and you can connect with over 2 billion people on social media with an all-in-one tool for posting and sharing as well. So make sure that you take the time to put the goal in your 2024 business goals with emails, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to ConstantContact.com/allcity and start your free trial today. Go to ConstantContact.com/allcity for your free trial today.
Can I run down some places real quick?
You can.
So here's where some people are watching from: Estonia, Dallas, Colombia, Singapore, Norway, India, Mexico City, more Norway, just a lot of Norway, Australia, a flag I don't recognize, Shane. I'm sorry about that. Another Australia, Fresno, California, Mexico, dude, Slovenia. Let's go. Let's go.
We are a worldwide phenomenon here.
I don't know. I heard a lot of countries that you didn't name.
There's
There's
true.
way more countries than that.
There are.
Azerbaijan, where you at?
Where was the flag you didn't know?
Mongolia? What's going on?
As we continue to globing around, I don't know.
Yeah.
As we continue to go around the world here on the DLS.
Can we get some Kenya representation?
post-game show?
St. Kitts and Nevis?
Make sure you like,
I can
comment,
keep
and
naming
subscribe
countries.
while you're here as well to DLS Sports. If you're new here, we really appreciate you joining us here on the DLS Mavs postgame show. You can also download and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts for free. The turning points of this game, the moments and plays that define how the Mavericks won 143-133. Klay Thompson with a season-high 29 points, knocking down 7 3-pointers. Luka Doncic with a 40-point triple-double in this game. The Mavericks' big three combining for 95 points tonight of the 143 that they scored. And let's just jump into it. The first quarter set the tone offensively for what the Mavericks were able to do tonight. The Mavericks used what was a 21-8 run to eventually take what was a 12-point lead at 23-11 with 7.5 minutes in the first quarter. But, gentlemen, the first quarter, the Mavericks dropped a season-high 46 points in that period. The teams combined did both the Warriors and the Mavericks to go 15 of 26 from downtown, but I want to start with Luka Doncic because he set the tone offensively for the Mavericks tonight. Went 6 of his first 7 from the field, 2 of his first 3 from downtown, scoring 15 points in that first quarter. And Bobby, he just took over from jump tonight and really for the Mavericks offensively let it know what kind of night it was going to be for them.
Yeah, it looked really smooth. He had a kind of like a drive, sort of half spin into a rock back, little 14-footer, very easy looking shot. And then he expanded his range a little bit, hit a couple threes. There was one that was extremely smooth. I mean, like silky. Getting off to good starts is something that they've been doing more of lately. I'm looking back at the last first quarter whenever they were in Golden State about a month ago or whatever. They lost that game by 3. They were down 33-27 at the end of the first quarter. Luka was 4 of 8, which is pretty good. The rest of the team was not pretty good, but tonight Luka got it going, and then everybody else kind of followed suit. And shot making is kind of this contagious thing, right? And,
This is how it's historically been.
Yeah.
Luka gets going, and then the team does.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
and it just hasn't been like that this season.
And to
Until recently.
To your point, I mean, the Mavericks made 14 of the first 20 shots, including going 6 of 10 from downtown.
Yeah, and they are now 11-1 when leading after the first quarter. And they're 6-8 when tied or trailing. And a lot of these games during this stretch now, whether it's 12 out of 14 or something that they've won, a lot of those games, almost every single one, they've been leading at the end of the first quarter. And so those slow starts are kind of a thing of the past.
The Warriors, on many occasions, cut it to 4, got it to 3. How did you feel at those junctures? Did you think the lead was slipping away?
No, I was never really worried, honestly.
I
never felt panicked. Yeah.
You know, I think why? When Luka's having a night like that, you just have such faith that he's going to, do what's necessary at the end of the game to get a win. You've seen him do it so many times. I think that version of Luka, and quite frankly, obviously competency had been shown throughout the roster, pretty much everybody who was playing. But yeah, no, I never felt any serious doubt that Dallas was going to come away with it, even as the lead shrunk. And I want to say in the fourth quarter, it was never a one-shot game.
Trivia question.
I think it ended. I think 5 was the closest that they drew.
What is the Mavericks' record this season when leading after 3 quarters?
Oh, I just said this on the last show. So if you watched the last show we did, you should know this.
So was I not on that show? Must have been a non.
I don't think so.
You don't
post-game show.
You might have been in the last segment or something.
You don't watch every show we do?
Oh, you know what? It might have been 2 shows ago.
Wow.
Toronto?
I
Was
do
it
know the
Toronto?
record. I do
Everybody
know the
else
record.
does.
You do? You already know it?
I know. I forgot how many wins they have, but I know how many losses they have.
Is it 15? Oh, wait, 15-2?
Nope.
What is it?
It is now 16-0.
16-0?
16-0. By the way,
16-0.
there you go.
38-2 last year. Like tonight, it
38-2.
was in jeopardy. It was in jeopardy.
I mean, it felt like
Despite Tim Cato's unshakable confidence, I think it was. I mean,
It's just my vibe of how things are going.
Golden State made some runs.
Well, the Warriors pulled within 3 at 118-115 with 10.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But it felt like every time the Warriors made a run and got close, whether it was to 3 or to 5, the Mavericks had a response. I mean, the Mavericks were able to go back up 5 with Kyrie Irving, who had an and-1. The Warriors pulled again within 5 with 7:57 left in the fourth quarter at 125-120. Lindy Waters hit that incredible transition three-pointer.
Oh my God, that shot was awesome.
That
God, that was so
much
cool,
fun.
dude.
Yeah.
But the Mavericks responded. They went on a quick 7-0 run to go back up by 12, capped off by what was a Klay Thompson three-pointer, with 6.5 minutes left. So it felt like every time Golden State went on a run, the Mavericks were able to get themselves back up where they needed to. PJ Washington had a really nice steal on Steph Curry that led to a Klay Thompson three-pointer that put him back up again by 10 at 135-125. So the Mavericks were able to respond to every punch that was thrown, really haymakers from the three-point line by the Golden State Warriors all night, and they were the ones that were able to come up with the biggest shots in the end. Klay Thompson was able to really put the game away by knocking down 3 free throws with a minute left when they were up, made it go up 142-133. But Klay Thompson was just simply fantastic tonight. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, he really put the game away. He literally put the game away with the free throws, but he essentially put the game away with a couple threes that came, in the final 2 minutes. And that was guard pick and rolls. I think Golden State, out of every team in the NBA, knows not to leave Klay Thompson open, but they were so bamboozled by Klay screening for Luka or Klay screening for Kyrie, and Klay, Luka and Kyrie were clearly on such a good rhythm and vibe that it's not like you could cheat off them. You couldn't cheat off Luka tonight. That's just there's no scenario where that was going to work. And instead they just kept leaving Klay Thompson open. And his quick trigger certainly helped. There was help closing. It just wasn't closing quick enough. But that guard pick and roll, you said it during the game.
Yeah.
You've said it a million times. There's 2 easy ways to get Klay Thompson threes. One is transition. It's probably the easiest way to get anybody threes, but certainly transition. We saw some of that tonight. The other way is when he screens.
And they were so committed to doubling Luka because Luka was kicking their butts for the entire game.
Yeah.
Like in the fourth quarter, Luka didn't take many shots. They were double teaming and blitzing him off these pick and rolls. And so the adjustment is to stop having Gafford or Lively screen for him because then nothing is happening. Those possessions were all petering out. It's to have the guard screen for him, and Klay did, and he got it. And another way Tim, and I was able to get the stat. We were talking during the game. It just feels like every time that Klay gets a second chance three, he makes it. And he made, I think, 2 of those tonight. This season, the Mavs, before this game, the Mavs were 39.3% on threes taken after an offensive rebound, which is the 7th best mark in the league. So they're shooting about 40% on those shots. And that includes, are you ready for this? 31 of 65 on above the break threes following an offensive rebound, which is almost 50%. Those are the tough ones too. And a lot of those are Klay. It's like Gafford or Lively go up, come down, kick it out. Luka, Kyrie go up. Kyrie hit Klay with one today. He's really, really good at those. And that's such an easy way to get him a good look. So it's transition, it's screening, it's second chance points. It's not running. It's not changing your entire offense to have 17 screens for him to run around. It's just do what you do and then find ways to get him involved.
All these road games are giving you a lot of time to look up some really, really, really minutia level stats.
This is from deep within
These
the
are
Department
deep
of
cuts
Frivolity
on the statistics tonight. By the way,
that's
all
a
these
good stat.
road
It's a
games?
good stat. I maintain it.
When Dallas is down the street from us, Bobby can't be looking this up too?
I think he has more time. I think
Maybe.
I think the road schedule gives him a little more time to
well, he's going to have some more time to
just
look up some
completely
stats.
gut in the weeds. You're going to replace that guy, the in the weeds guy in the NBA.com commercial.
Well, Bobby's going to have some more time to look up some stats. We're going to take our next break here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. By the way, tonight's game was so crazy. Luka had a dunk. That's how crazy tonight's
God, I forgot
game
about that. That
And
was awesome.
And a ferocious one at that.
Ardell, we got a dunk. Ardell, we got a Luka
A
dunk.
ferocious throwdown.
Let's get to a couple super chats before we take our next break here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. Let's start with Aaron, the $1.99 super chat. The Mavs have the highest points through 3 quarters in the NBA so far.
114 points at the end of 3, and it was not comfortable.
No, it was not. It did not feel that way at all. Shout out
Thank
to
you, Aaron.
Aaron with the super chat. Let's get to our next super chat. Shout out to our guy, Ben Selheim, with the $4.99 super chat. He says, hard to miss the game due to my work holiday party on Sunday. And just like my coworker, this game was drunk.
Your coworker, huh? I see, Ben. I'm sure it was a coworker. No relation.
Holiday
Finn
party on a
Bellheim,
Sunday night, though. That is
That's
something.
that's kind of nasty work.
That is
a holiday
something else.
party on a Sunday night that's not cool.
Ours is Tuesday, and we might accidentally go live that night, depending on how the vibe goes.
Oh, really?
We might. I'm not saying anything. We might. I might accidentally push the go live button.
So wait, if we're close to like 12,000 subscribers on holiday party night, we're gonna try to get to.
I'm not
12,000?
saying I won't, but I'm not saying I'm not.
Okay, that was an ambiguous answer, but okay, we'll go with it. But yeah, that's how crazy tonight was. Luka Doncic actually got the Mavericks to 100 points on the night with his first dunk of. Was that officially his first dunk of the season?
Yep.
So that's how good it was for Luka Doncic tonight with the 40-plus point triple-double that he had.
So Ben Selheim is not really based in Norway. That was chat room banter.
Are you
a little bit of
disappointed?
banter.
You sound disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a Norwegian flag. I thought that was cool.
We got folks watching
He's from
from
Sri
the
Lanka.
Netherlands as well. Again, we are a worldwide phenomenon here at the LS
I love it.
Mavs.
It's my favorite DLS tradition. I want to know where you're watching from.
We saw. I want chat to guess who's lying here. We saw a chatter from the Philippines. We saw a chatter from Israel. We saw a chatter from Saudi Arabia. We saw a chatter from the International Space Station. I want you to
Also
tell
saw
me.
a chatter from Mars. I think that
From
was
Mars?
a lie. I think that was a lie.
There was another Antarctica.
All right, we got liars. in
Okay,
chat. We got to
all right.
spot the liars.
Don't lie. Don't lie. I mean, you don't have to. Even if it's whatever. If it's Carrollton,
the truth is-
we're still appreciative.
I know where y'all are watching from. I can see it all.
Yeah, he
in
can
my,
literally
in my
see
laptop.
where you're watching
I have
from.
all of y'all's
Oh,
information.
Santa? Is that you?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Hey, stop falling
Unbelievable.
asleep. Stop falling asleep in the chat.
Yeah.
More than 600. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's keep trucking.
750. Maybe we're not going to get 1,000. Can we get 750? Text a friend. Ask them to join us.
Make some burners.
Hit the like button if you haven't already. We would greatly appreciate that. And now let's let Kevin Gray go on with all the work that needs to be done.
My favorite bit of this show, especially after wins, is like Marc demanding things from like everyone on the show.
I'm politely
And the
asking.
No, you're demanding. Like the show, hit the button, make sure you make fun of my charging cord
I
while
don't
you're
even know
here
what
too.
half of these things mean, even. So I'm just shouting.
Well, you
things.
fake it until you make it. You sound
shouting
good.
Outing thing.
Let's take our
The
next
knife!
break here on our DLS Mavs post game show. show, as Marc will probably read Naji Marshall's tweets throughout the rest of the show as well. Plus, more on how the Mavericks' incredible shooting led to one of the most fun wins of the season. All that and more coming up next year on the Dallas Mavs postgame show.
Let's talk about Rugged Road. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Their products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, on a boat, on a bay, no matter where you are, Rugged Road is built to accompany you on every adventure. Klay Thompson, I hope you're listening right now. One great thing about Rugged Road is their coolers, and one of the most unique features you're going to find with any cooler out there is that Rugged Road coolers, they always float upright. You're never going to lose a drink. There's no chance of that happening. So unlike other heavy-duty coolers, Rugged Road coolers are incredibly light, so they're so easy to transport on any trip. Gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off.
Let me talk to you about Saturday Neon real quick. Started by two college buddies. Saturday Neon makes officially licensed collegiate LED neon lights, perfect for your home, office, dorm room, fan cave, or bar. If you're looking for the perfect holiday gift, you can check out Saturday Neon with their new Essentials collection featuring almost 50 of the biggest schools across the country and accounting for only $75. Whether you're a Longhorn fan, an Aggie fan, a Red Raider fan, Oklahoma or Oklahoma State fan, they've got the signs for you as well. And unlike traditional neon signs, these LED signs won't break or shatter, but still give you the classic uniform glow that you know and love. And they last up to 100,000 hours, so you'll be enjoying these signs for years to come as well. They're super easy to install using the provided hardware or 3M command strips as well. So again, if you're looking for a last-minute holiday gift, Saturday Neon's got you covered. Head over to SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off your favorite sign with Saturday Neon today. Appreciate all of you joining us here on the Dlls.
Someone on Twitter said Klay and Steph are still setting three-point records together.
Aw.
Yeah, they are in different sides of the coin this time.
That's a wholesome thought.
But they are definitely setting records tonight as the Mavericks win 143-133. Klay Thompson's season-high 29 points. Luka Doncic with a 40-point triple-double helped the Mavericks win their 12th game in the last 14 outings. By the way, the Mavericks tonight played their 13th road game in their last 17 games overall, as the Mavericks are now 8-2 in their last 10 road games.
Can I give you some more trivia?
Yeah, you can.
I stole this from Marc Followell, but it was such a great stat, such a personally meaningful stat that I had to share it. It is the only other time, if I'm remembering his tweet correctly, that the Mavericks have had a stretch like this. 13 road games in a 17-game span.
They played 4 home games in 40 days.
Was the spring of 1998,
Ooh,
when a much younger
1990
and much slimmer Marc Stein was the Mavericks beat writer for the Dallas Morning News. I don't remember that at all. It was the spring before a pretty important draft night, June 24th, 1998, I believe, when the Mavericks acquired the draft rights to Dirk Nowitzki and traded for Steve Nash, a pretty important night in franchise history.
there should be one game in 1998 that you remember, though. It was a home game.
The win over Chicago.
Mavs v. Bulls, yep.
Yeah. Unforgettable.
Cedric Sabalos from the corner forces OT.
And where did Cedric Sabalos go to college?
North Texas?
What?
Cal State Fullerton.
Cal State Fullerton.
I got a couple history
UTA?
stats for you.
That is correct.
Can I run down some history stats?
Yes.
So tonight, the Mavs got just their 6th win ever when an opponent makes at least 23s. They improved to 6-17. It's their first win in such a game since
The Blazers game, probably, right?
no, a game against Brooklyn. It might have been the home opener last year against Brooklyn, October 27, 2023. Luka had to bank in a 3 to win that one. How about the Mavs now have won, get this, 3 straight games when opponents make at least 15 threes and shoot at least 50% from 3. They have now won 3 games in a row. Before this 3-game winning streak in such games, I'm trying to do some math here. They had played 29 such games, and they had only won 4 of them.
So the key
So
now
they were
is
4-25 before this, but now they're 7-25.
So the key is just to let the opponent shoot 50% and make at least 15 threes in the game, and the Mavericks.
Yeah, then
win
you're
that.
undefeated. And now the final one. This will make Luka fans very happy.
Well, can I chime in on that last stat?
Yeah.
I think it's what I was saying. I think that this is a really good team with a good defense that has very specific ideas about how they're going to play. And every once in a while, you do run up against a team that is going to just hit a ton of threes against you. But because you're a good team and because this is what you're doing and you're limiting and taking away other aspects of your offense, that doesn't become just a math loss anymore. It's not a math loss.
Yeah, and stay
Doesn't
committed
make
to
it
your game plan.
easy to, but yeah.
Have some
that's why.
convictions. You know, other teams are going to get hot, but don't change what you do. The Mavs are now 9-0 all time when Luka records a 40-point triple-double. And Luka is the first player with a 45-point triple-double since Luka. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Let us know in the chat, as I saw at least one person did. Let us know if you actually do remember the Mavericks beating the Last Dance Bulls at Reunion Arena
you should.
in 1998, because that was...
You should, because there's a YouTube video that the Mavs produced to send to season ticket holders after that game called Unforgettable, and it was about that game. And
Because it says bull at the end.
And Don Nelson, then head coach of the Mavs, is breaking down film, giving commentary of the last 7 minutes of the game. The Mavs shot, I think it was...
I haven't seen that.
I think it was... Oh, my God, I'll send it to you. The Mavs shot, I think, 84-68, and then they come back, and they got Nelly's in there impersonating Chris Anstey's Australian accent. He's talking about Dennis Rodman. Michael Jordan bricked a free throw with the game on the line, and Kukoc missed a finger roll to give them the win. It was unbelievable. Steve Kerr 0 for 2, and he went 0 for 2 from the line. He laughed after he missed the first one, and then he missed the second one as well. The Bulls did one of these.
Not the Reggie Miller choke sign.
Were you there?
For that game? I see y'all's comments in the chat as well. Tanner, can you throw up Tanner's comment there? Tanner Lucas's chat there that he's got talking about this Mavericks offense. He says, this is the team we all expected at the beginning of the year, but please, never mind. We're going to let the Maxi part go. I just wanted to read the first part. I appreciate the first part of that comment, though, because, again, when you look at the offense that was created tonight by the Mavericks, we have talked about this quite a bit. And, Tim, you had talked about this, during the preseason leading up to the season. The offense that this Mavericks team could have when Luka, Kyrie, and Klay Thompson are on, we could be watching one of the more historic offenses that we have seen in NBA history. And tonight, you got a real nice window into what that offense could potentially look like when they're hitting on all cylinders. And I'm not going to be to the point where they're dropping a $143 every night and hitting over 23s in a game. But, Tim, the idea is this is what this Mavericks offense can look like when guys are knocking down shots, particularly now that Klay Thompson's on this team. And we saw that in bunches tonight for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, me and Bobby don't think you should ever you should never double Luka Doncic. It's a shared opinion. I know there's others, people on Mavs Twitter. I text my old podcast co-host Austin Guria about this. Don't double Luka. But Luka can get in these grooves where, he made his first 9 twos. It looked like anything he took. He started 9 of 9 on twos. Mm-hmm. And he took 3 of them specifically to get a foul call and didn't get the foul call, made the shot anyway. So you are, as a defense, sometimes just so shell-shocked into this idea that it's just like, well, you gotta get the ball away from him. You can't let him take shots. And I get it. That's what defense. That's how defenders are wired. If somebody keeps beating you with crazy shots, you go send somebody else at him. That's how coaches are wired. And last season, you could sometimes a little bit get away with that because there's actually players you could sag off of, and that's just not the case this year. It's Klay Thompson out there. It's Quentin Grimes, who was 4 of 8. Almost 5 of 9, except they called a 3 of a 3-second violation. They have shooters. I've come around. This team isn't going to, they're not even gonna touch Boston and what Boston's gonna do. I don't think they're gonna come close in terms of attempts and makes of what Boston did last season. Yeah, but this is a very good offense that added more 3-point shooting. This is probably the best 3-point shooting team they've ever had. Do we agree with that? I think we do. Maybe
3-point shooting?
Is this the best 3-point shooting team of the Luka era?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just making sure I'm not crazy here. It's the best 3-point shooting team. You've got the 48 minutes of rim running, rim rolling centers. Yeah, and you've got Luka and Kyrie. There is no reason that this shouldn't be a top 2, top 3 offense, even if, just by the sheer quality all around the league, if at Boston or a New York sneaks above you. But I mean, I do think Dallas is going to finish top 3,
Yeah.
And where in that top 3 we'll see. If they finish first, that's not surprising me. That's how good this team is.
And this team was devastatingly efficient tonight, shooting nearly 60% from the field, going 52 of 87 from the field, 21 of 41 from downtown.
Turnover still an issue.
They shot over 51% from 3. But yeah, tonight in the turnover department, they had 16 turnovers, which is something, we've talked about it plenty, a team that's 8th or 9th worst in the league over the last 13, 14 games in the turnover department. But you can forgive some of it tonight with the incredible shot making that they were doing. And, you had a couple of unsung heroes in this game as well. I want to make sure to shout out to a guy like Quentin Grimes. He went 4 of 8 from downtown. He had 14 points in this game. We talked about what PJ Washington has meant to this team. He came back tonight after missing the game against Oklahoma City on Tuesday with illness. He was big tonight. He was a plus 20 with 13 points. And the Mavericks, Bobby, did the bit at the very beginning of the game. What did they do? They post up PJ Washington, but he's able to get a bucket on the first possession of the game.
It worked.
For the Mavericks.
They made their first 9 shots of the game. They
did.
should do that more often.
And PJ wound up going 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from downtown. It was just an all-around offensive clinic for the Dallas Mavericks tonight, and everyone who had a hand in this was able to really knock down a bunch of shots. The Mavericks also out-rebounded Golden State tonight, 47-37, including on the defensive glass, 37-22 as well, so they were able to take advantage and ending possessions defensively.
Washington, PJ Washington only had 4 rebounds, but I remember at least like 2 of them stick out in my head as like very big boy adult rebounds. Individual plus minus is so flawed, but it does stick out a little bit that he was second best on the team, plus 22, even though he had a quiet night, 13-4. But I do feel like that those same subliminal, just quiet. Sometimes they show up in the box score, sometimes they don't. That effect is always there from PJ Washington, even if it was a little bit subdued compared to some games he's had. I still felt it was there. Like he's the most irreplaceable player on the team.
Jason Kidd Jason Kidd calling PJ Washington the heart and soul of this team during his pregame comments as well before tonight's game. By the way, Luka Doncic is not just the 45 points, the 13 assists, and the 11 rebounds that he had, but I'm sure somebody wanted to have him ask him about his steals again. He had 3 steals tonight and 2 blocked shots. Coming into tonight, Luka Doncic is second in the NBA in steals per game at over 2 per game behind the Great Barrier Thief in Dyson Daniels. I love saying that nickname. That's an incredible nickname that Dyson Daniels has from the Atlanta Hawks. But yeah, Luka Doncic is another 3 steals tonight as he is second in the league in steals.
Swatted the hell out of Pajimski. It's been a while since
and
I said
that corner 3 they took. As the shot.
Did you guys see that Pods had been tweeting, or like over the summer he tweeted screenshots of himself taking step back threes and Luka taking step back threes, just side by side?
He also
comparison between.
I actually don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing that. That's
he also took note of Team USA's projected Olympic roster in 2028, which he was not a part of. And
I think.
Oh, he has some commentary about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's great to have confidence. I think actually for an athlete, I think it's great to have overconfidence. But if you're that type of overconfident athlete, I don't think it's great for you to have access to your own Twitter.
Father John Misty famously he did not have access to his Twitter for almost 10 years, and he's back on now, and I love it.
Oh, he's being chaotic.
He's
he's Father John Misty.
He's also an NBA fan. He's tweeting about LeBron. It's awesome.
Yeah. Let's get to our other super chat real quick from Ben Selheim. This is for you, Mark. At the $1.99 super chat, Stein. The family is in Norway, but he is in Texas. So
Clarification appreciated. I need the specifics, so thank you for that.
So shout out to Ben with the $1.99 super chat, as well as the Mavericks take it 143-133 on the road over the Golden State Warriors. Let's take our final break here on the DLS Mavs post-game show. Coming up next, we'll dial up the Stein line, Marc Stein's news and notes in and around the association, and more on the Mavericks' incredible win tonight as they continue to be one of the hottest teams in the NBA. All that and more coming up next year on the DLS Mavs postgame show. But first, KG, this is the first time you're donning your DLLS shirt. I am. Shout out to the gear, the DLLS Skyline shirt I've been waiting on.
But I know I'm also wearing a DLLS shirt, and it looks different than yours. How does that work?
We got a bunch of selection on our website as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing here there's more than 35 different shirts to choose from. And there's also hoodies. There's also cups, mugs, flags.
And if you're an insider, you can get a hat.
Yeah.
You can get a hat if you're an insider.
One of one to this point.
No hats
Won't
yet.
be forever, but for now, still one of one. Not taking offers on it either.
Ooh, priceless. Literally priceless. And if you would like to get some merch, hey, you can scan the QR code below. You can get one of these shirts for free if you want. You scan that QR code below, sign up to become a diehard for less than $7 a month. You gain access to our entire website, all the premium written content. You get to join the DLS Diehard Discord server where we're talking about all sorts of stuff. I haven't been on there in a couple hours, but I'm assuming the Mavs general chat is popping the heck off right now. You also get a free shirt. Hey, you can get that one for free. You can get this one for free. You can get any of the other more than 35 designs for free, and you get a discount on any other stuff you'd like to purchase. At DLS, obviously, like we're trying to celebrate the team. We're trying to celebrate either the Mavs or the Cowboys or the Rangers, Stars. Like we're covering these guys. We want to wear merch and wear gear to like show everyone, hey, yeah, we're Mavs fans, we're Cowboys fans, whatever. But also the merch is just really cool. Like the logo is just really cool. I want more DLS stuff. I buy DLS stuff myself. I've bought probably too much DLS stuff myself. But if you want to become a diehard today, you can scan the link you can scan the QR code, click the link in the description below. I want to shout out some of our most recent signups. Shout out to Ashlyn, Clark, Jeff, Colin, and Maria. They all signed up to become diehards this weekend. Shout out to all of y'all, and it would mean a lot if you joined them very soon.
Get your physical diehard card as well. Show that off. Tag us on social media. And let us know you're part of our Dlls Sports family here for Dlls Sports. Become a diehard member. Again, alldlls.com and click that diehard tab to become a diehard member today on our Dlls Mavs post-game show. Really appreciate all of you joining us here. And if you're listening on the podcast as well, make sure you download and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast for free. Give it a 5-star rating. Write a review for it while you're there, wherever you get your podcast for free. And like, comment, and subscribe to Dlls Sports here on YouTube as well. Mavericks, one of their most fun wins of the season, knocked down 21 three-pointers, a numbers night, a historic night of numbers, if you will, for the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic with his 48th career 30-point triple-double tonight, and Klay Thompson, the star in the Bay once again, now combined 13 of 23 from downtown now that he's a member of the Dallas Mavericks versus his old team in the Golden State Warriors. As we dial up the Stein line here on the DLS Mavs post-game show, Marc, a numbers night tonight. We know how much you love your numbers. Before we get to things around the league as well, what are some of your favorite numbers from tonight's game, given the dizzying amount that we've seen?
Honestly, now my focus has been shifted from numbers, and the reason is Klay Thompson was just at the podium. And Klay, I am an incurable nostalgist, and so is Klay. Klay is an old school nostalgist, which I love. And so Klay just told the assembled media in the Bay that this game was way easier than the last time. Said he saw a much smaller number of captain's hats that helped him. But the part I love, he went in depth on. So I believe the Mavs did practice here yesterday before flying to the Bay, but basically they had the night off.
They did, yeah.
They had the night off last night in the Bay. So Klay said he went to go visit a friend in Oakland, drove past Oracle, drove around Oakland a little bit to soak up the old vibes, and that's the kind of story that I love. So I think he was clearly ready to go tonight, and you could see how happy his teammates were for him to light it up the way he did. I mean, Steve Kerr said afterward that Luka was the problem, and Luka always is. Luka always is the problem.
It's a good observation, Steve.
I mean, Luka was, when he hits that otherworldly stratosphere. I mean, the 40-point triple doubles that he just puts up with laughable ease. But this was a big one for Klay Thompson because, his first 25-ish games as a Mav have been up and down. He's missed some time with injury as well. So to have a game like this, I think, again, yes, he will be floating / sailing his way back.
In that first game he had in Golden State, I mean, I was out there, and he, I remember his post-game press conference. It was coming after a loss, of course. He's going to be a little bit more short-spoken, but there was a lot of him just it wasn't something he could engage with at that moment. Like, everybody kept asking him the obvious questions that you would expect him to be asked, and it was just he was giving the answer that he wasn't being rude, but it's like, how shortly and how broadly and generally can I answer this to fulfill the question, but then to move on. He ended up talking for like 4.5 minutes. And, for a press conference like that, you could easily see it going much longer. But he just, it was just, you could tell it was a lot. And maybe even my assessment was that he was doing everything he could to focus on basketball, to focus on the actual team and sport that he's playing with all these distractions going around him, even if he understood them. He understood that they were going to happen. He understood why they were happening. He was very grateful and appreciative that they were happening. So that really does make sense to me. That it's obvious, but to hear it from his voice, from his words, I think that makes a lot of sense. I'd said actually after Klay was in the Bay, you could or I actually someone on the team, not someone like directly close to him, but somebody on the team was like, "Is this when Klay Thompson's Mavericks career really starts? Now that he gets past this home." This up to this point, the only home he's ever known in the NBA. Is this when it really, he always had this day circled on his calendar, almost with like, I'm probably reading too much into it, but like almost with a sense of dread or a sense of like, let's get past that. And now coming back and having this night, you just have to think that whatever was still lingering, whatever, parts of him was still trying to accept that this is his home now. Like, I think I would like to think that, it's all kind of clicked into place.
And quietly, Klay has put it together over his last 8 games, including tonight's game. That is now 5 of his last 8 games where he's had at least 15 points. Obviously, tonight, the best game that he's had in a Dallas Mavericks uniform with the 29 points. He even joked at the end of the game saying that he really wanted to get to that 30-point mark. But nonetheless, Klay Thompson playing very well for the Mavericks, and offensively, they put on an absolute show tonight in San Francisco at Chase Center. And Marc, with that being said, obviously we're unofficially into trade season and teams looking to make moves. In fact, a move tonight, or I shouldn't say tonight, a move that was made by the Golden State Warriors prior to tonight's game. They acquired Dennis Schröder from the Brooklyn Nets to help bolster their backcourt. He was out tonight and did not play for the Warriors, obviously, against the Dallas Mavericks, but we're already starting to see movement around the league even prior to the February 6th trade deadline in the association.
It's a great thing that, we talk so much about the 2 luxury tax aprons and all the restrictions they foist on teams and all the problems they cause just for us as fans, media, the basketball public, how hard it makes it to freaking understand what the hell is going on. One very nice thing in this new CBA that really wasn't talked about that much. Normally, when a player is traded, they cannot be aggregated with other players in the next deal for 60 days. But they added a rule in the new CBA that if you make a trade by December 16th, so basically the day after trade season unofficially starts, that rule's thrown out the window. So that actually helped create some of this activity, and it's why we saw Golden State and Brooklyn move so fast. Not only does Dennis Schröder, he's been lights out for Brooklyn. I mean, Brooklyn is 6-2 against the West this season. 10-15 doesn't sound that great, but the Nets need to be tanking. They do not need to be 10-15. Dennis Schröder was making them too competitive. Schröder has been outstanding. He's going to help Golden State a lot, but a big kind of sidebar motivation for these teams making this move is that by doing it right away, DeAnthony Melton, who suffered a season-ending knee injury, he became trade eligible today. The Warriors and the Nets agreed to this trade on Saturday. By doing the trade before tomorrow, both the Warriors can turn around and put Schröder's number with other contracts if something larger, some major deal emerges between now and the trade deadline on February 6th.
What?
We've heard rumors that they're star hunting. It sounds like.
I mean, look, they tried for Paul George and Lauri Markkanen. weren't able to get it done in either case. Really, of the teams mentioned with Jimmy Butler, like the Mavs have been mentioned, but Houston and the Mavs have not registered interest in Jimmy Butler. Phoenix, I think, would like Jimmy Butler, but the only way Phoenix can do it is if Miami was willing to take Bradley Beal, and Miami didn't want to do the Bradley Beal trade 2 years ago. Beal's stock has not risen since then, and he still has the no trade clause in there. Plus, he's got 2 more years after the season at $110 million. Golden State is really the team.
Jeez.
Out of the Jimmy Butler teams mentioned at this point, I think Golden State is the one we still have to keep our eye on.
And I will say, really interesting quote.
I'm sorry, that took me up $110 million over the next 2 years for Bradley Beal.
After this, he's a $50 million player this season. $110 million over the next 2 seasons after this. So that's the thing. I mean,
and he's got the no trade clause.
And he has the no trade clause.
Oh
and it was all those factors that made Miami say, this guy, it's just too expensive and you're too handcuffed if you trade for him. So Miami abruptly backed away and Beal ended up going to Phoenix.
Draymond Green on the Dennis Schröder trade. It's from Danny Immerman, one of the Warriors beat writers. I don't think he was necessarily brought here to fit. We play a certain style of basketball he does not really play. Hang on, he turns this. Draymond Green continues, we need someone who can do the things he does. I'm looking forward to us adjusting to him. But that's sure interesting for a...
That's a hell of a way to clean up that first part. My gosh.
He zagged when you would expect a player to zag. I get what he's saying, like...
Man,
they're running split cuts with Lindy Waters.
But did you also see what Steve Kerr said before the game when asked about the Schröder trade? And he said, "I'm so glad we have Dennis because I had to tell him when we spoke, you've kicked my ass on 3 continents and I'm sick of losing to you." So look, Dennis Schröder, he's gonna help them. I mean, at $13 million, he is an absolute steal. I mean, Germany won a World Cup in basketball and brought many tears to Dirk Nowitzki's eyes with Dennis Schröder at the controls. Dennis Schröder, now FIBA Dennis Schröder is a whole nother deal. I mean, he's truly all-star level when he's playing for his national team, but he's been sensational for Brooklyn. To get him, I mean, the DeAnthony Melton situation is hugely unfortunate, but I mean, he suffered a season-ending injury and cannot play. So the Warriors, really, it only cost them 2 second-round picks, a player on a 2-way contract, and you bring in Dennis Schröder, and you buy because they can include him in a subsequent trade between now and the deadline. Golden State helped itself big time in the short term, and who knows what they do before the deadline. So, I mean, I think, look, the way the Mavs shot the ball tonight, they probably win no matter what, but not a terrible thing for Dallas that they got to play the Warriors before Schröder showed up.
They really need some playmaking in their lineup, man. Their starting lineup, now that they're bringing Draymond off the bench, it's like Steph and Buddy and Wiggins and Kuminga, and those are all good players, and Looney. I mean, that's a really, really good starting 5.
Fajinski was collection of players,
but they started red hot from 3, and it's a good thing they did because they were not getting any good shots, And so if you slide Schröder into the starting 5 and then bring Buddy off the bench, if that's their plan, then you can run Steph off all the screens. You can do all the stuff with Steph and still have some other thing to go to. They're starting 5 right now as it is. They're just not getting good shots. I don't know why they're doing it, but I mean, if Draymond's going to play like that off the bench, then obviously let's keep doing it.
By the way, the Mavericks win tonight over the Golden State Warriors now makes the Warriors 2-8 in their last 10 games after what was a 12-3 start for Golden State. They have now lost 8 of their last 10 games, including tonight's game over the Dallas Mavericks. If you're with our YouTube audience, make sure you stay with us here on Dlls Sports here on YouTube. If you're on our television platform, we sincerely appreciate you joining us here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. Visit alldlls.com to become a diehard member today as well. And you can also download and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts for free. We appreciate you joining us here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show for Dlls Sports. Appreciate you continuing to join us here on the YouTube side of things on DLLS for our Mavericks post-game show as the Mavericks win 143-133. The Mavericks now 12-2, Marc Stein, in their last 14 games.
I owe you a number. Do you want a number? I owe you a number.
You do owe me a number,
I
yes.
think I have a number that has not been recited by the Corella Strader over here.
Ooh,
One of your favorite numbers from tonight's game.
6 players in double figures again. Did you cover this?
no.
No.
6 players in double figures for the 13th time this season. Dallas 12 in one of those in those games. They only did it 13 times all of last season. So already there before Christmas.
Mark, I've got a number for you.
As the depth keeps depthing.
It is doing the thing.
Hey, look at there.
Would you like a number, Mark Stein?
Something tells me I'm not gonna like this because of the
I think
the
you
look
will.
on your
No, I
smirk
think you
on your
will.
face. But
I think you will.
let's let
3.
let's let the
That's the
Cato
number.
computer have the floor.
The number
Not
is
the
3.
Cato computer.
That is how many times Naji Marshall tweeted about this game.
Ooh,
Would you like
that's
me
the
to
new
read
favorite
them?
number.
Yeah, read them. The knife.
Read PJ's post after.
I have
PJ
I have a
was
lot
out
of
there
stuff
too?
queued
Okay.
up to read. So Naji Marshall tweets, "Hey Cap," as in captain, with a salute, the salute emoji. So that was for Klay. Then he said, "Mr. Magic," with 5 sobbing emojis. Who is he referring to? That must have been Kyrie.
Luka?
Mr. Magic?
Mr. Magic? Was that
Luka.
Luka?
Luka
That was
Magic?
Luka,
Luka
yeah, that's
Magic.
Luka at the very end.
Be on the lookout for some of that coming out of
I was
the
trying
merch
to remember
pipeline
what
too.
Luka did at the very
Birdie
end
told me.
that would have. And then Naji tweets, "Dang, I wish I was out there with my dogs, man."
Oh, I do too, man.
Yeah.
Same. Same.
Please.
The knife.
Mavericks
And
might have
then
scored 160
we need you,
tonight.
Najee.
Najee played.
There,
We need you.
There was another player
do you think
tweet.
the knife will ever come on this show?
I hope he does.
I
I
sure
hope
think
so.
so. I think absolutely.
We'll try to
Is
make
the
it-
knife aware of how like bullish we are on his like career
I
and
think
how much
it has.
we love him?
I think it's sort of. It's been relayed to him, but probably not as clearly as it needs to be.
All right, Naji, listen, buddy. We love you on this show.
No, real
we
talk.
love your game. We love your posting. We love your
Love the
nickname.
nickname, love the
I mean,
nickname.
my God, dude! Like, what more could you ask for?
So there's another tweet from a player after the game. It was Quentin Grimes, and he tweeted,
Shootout?
I believe this is a correct pronunciation of what he spelled out.
Do I need to read this?
It did sound a lot like that's spelled.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
There's
letters.
a lot of A's, a lot of capital letters, a lot of W's. And then last player reaction. Mavs film room, if this is wrong, I'm coming for your ass. Like, be right about this. But PJ Washington posted on Instagram. And he had the Dallas Mavericks and their little score bug feature. Should have used ours, but we'll work on that.
Yeah, it's
we'll
okay.
forgive him
We'll
for
work
it.
on that.
And then he captioned it with belt to ass.
Oh, okay. Okay. PJ, all right, PJ. We see what
So-
you're doing. All right.
Interesting. I don't know where his hatred of the Warriors comes from. Am I missing something? Like that's a very incendiary reaction from PJ Washington. Like you would think that there's something that sparked that in the past. Am I
Did you see what he
forgetting
said on
something?
NBA TV? PJ Washington was the post-game guest on NBA TV. It's
What'd he say there?
championship or bust.
Whoa, my God, dude!
Whoa.
Come on, man.
Whoa.
I mean,
PJ said it's championship or bust, huh?
I think it would be pretty embarrassing if the Mavericks didn't say that. Like, come on, they went to the finals
No.
last year.
I
And-
agree with you in the sentiment. I think
That
for-
is what a player should be thinking. Are you
But to
kidding me?
say that in December is just so.
Whether you should be saying it, but he's not He's saying
Of course,
that's
everybody
their
feels that
expectations.
way, but like, I mean, here's the reason why that causes me concern, because tonight the Mavs slipped to tied for 10th in defensive rating, so they are barely clinging on to top 10. Their title hopes hang by a thread.
So if they end up 3 in offense and 11 on defense, they cannot win the
No
championship.
chance of winning the title, Mark. You already know.
I mean, but
We'll talk
honestly,
about this
though,
tomorrow.
if this is a top 5 offensive rated team, and honestly, all I've really wanted over the last couple of years, really the last 2-3 years at this point, is for them to be average defensively. Like, especially now with the addition of Klay Thompson, obviously Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving offensively are going to be dynamite most nights. But if you can be in the 12 to 15 range defensively with how good this offense is, you're going to win a lot of games in the Western Conference. Now, if you finish top 10 in defensive rating, as well as being a top 5, top 3 offensive rated team, now we're talking about on another level. But yeah,
That's what took them on the 2 deep runs under
Exactly.
Jason Kidd, though. And I will say, when their offense was the season they missed the playoffs entirely, they were top 5-ish offense.
Yeah.
Even after getting Kyrie. And now I don't think the defense, we're not saying the defense is going to be that bad.
Yeah.
That was like every single night, that was the worst defense that I've ever seen. Like, it's just an abomination of a defense during that season. But I do think that this team is, I was more bullish on their ceiling when it looked like they had found something defensively. It's a topic we'll dive into. I know me and Bobby are going to do that tomorrow.
2 quick notes before I go.
Yeah.
This coming week.
Where are you going?
I'm about to say.
Just playing. Like, you gonna get up and walk
Just
off the
gonna
show
walk
right
off
in
the
the,
set,
in the middle of the show? You gonna get up and
what
walk
if
off?
I
You made it
will
sound like
join
before
him.
I go, where are you going?
What
We're
if
still in the middle
what
of
if
the
I
show.
have a sourcing emergency and I need to walk right in front of all the cameras?
See, now we got
If a
too much
source
set
is
up here for
calling
you
you
to
at
walk
11:15,
around.
tell them have some decency.
Yeah.
I guess on this.
You could walk around,
I
actually.
could
Yeah,
walk
you
around,
could.
but that would then you guys would have nothing to laugh at. If I did that.
Guys, if Stein walks off, I'm walking too. So let's hurry them up and get this wrapped.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my
okay.
God. All
Wow.
right.
This
Show's
coming
over.
week is the closest thing in the NBA we have to the winter meetings. It is not exactly the winter meetings, but the NBA G League Showcase, the whole G League, 30-plus teams will play at least 2 games in Orlando. Every front office will have a slew of people there, and I'll be there too, trying to dig up some dirt to satisfy the DLS crew. And probably, arguably, maybe more importantly, this is the week that the long-awaited gift that Santa Stein has promised.
Santa Stein coming through?
This is the week that the gift will be tangible, and I guarantee will be appreciated.
Let's go.
Okay.
There is no way.
Let's
go.
Santa Stein.
There isn't
All
a chance I was on the nice list this year. I was so naughty.
Oh, okay, Tim.
Luckily for you,
They'll let you work that out.
luckily for you, you get lumped in with since this is a gift for all of DLS. Even you get to
Loopholes.
Even
Let's
you,
go.
Even you get to partake.
I
in
just
it.
outwinded Santa.
Mark, please find out for us what the Mavs are going to do at the trade deadline and tell us in great detail on the next time you're on a show.
And why Max has got a rib fracture. If you could help us out with the rib fracture problem that Moxie Kleba has, that would be
Moxie
great.
Kleba.
Are the
I will-
Mavs going to join the superstar trade sweepstakes? I need answers.
I would not anticipate that, but I will ask again, just like that for you.
Okay.
Why do you want them to? 2 superstars aren't enough.
Just give me more. Give me more. Giannis, where are you at, buddy?
You've heard of these aprons, correct? You know what they do to you.
I mean, I don't really know what they do.
I just
it's
love the
all
fact-
just make-believe numbers to me. I'm just living my
Bobby
life.
doesn't cook.
Yeah.
Doesn't know anything about aprons.
I just love the fact that Bobby can just openly and freely just talk about trades now.
Yeah, it is what it is,
Like,
man.
just
I've
recklessly
been unleashed.
speculate about trades.
Didn't
for
we
the
just
Mavericks.
have a salary cap expert on to tell you guys why none of this was possible?
He was talking about Jimmy
Like, wasn't
Butler.
that
I don't
wasn't
know
that
her.
like 5 minutes ago?
No, give me Giannis. Go to Orlando and
Great
find,
attendance tonight to close out
us
the
home.
week, people. Great attendance.
Tim literally leaned over to me and said, "It's time for us to go home."
You
You
read
ready?
take us home, but yeah.
It's essentially the same thing.
I write after this.
Become a
I still have
diehard.
to work.
Thank you all seriously for watching.
You guys are
Yes.
going home.
for late on a Sunday night.
Done working. No, but thank y'all.
For late on a Sunday night, there was more than almost 700 people watching at the peak and almost 500 hanging out like virtually the entire time. It was awesome. This has been such a fun season already, and it's only going to keep getting better. Now that the team is at home, oh my God, maybe they'll
Oh my
win.
gosh,
Maybe they'll
how
just
about
keep
that?
winning forever. Like,
Yeah.
Who knows, you know?
Great to see the Mavericks finally back at home. But
Baseball series upcoming.
that's right, against the Los
You'll
Angeles
have
Clippers.
a rant about that soon.
Yeah, the Mavericks will be off until Thursday before they welcome in the Los Angeles Clippers for 2
Is that the
games.
first baseball series of the season?
At the
believe
American
so.
Airlines Center. So
Yeah, because
look
I haven't
forward
had
to
a
that.
chance to uncork that rant yet, so I'll get that ready. That'll be coming from Orlando, but I'll get it ready.
Go.
It's time for us to go here on the DLS Mavs post-game show.
Tim has to write. We got to leave.
As the Mavericks win 143
None
to
of
133.
none of us have to work besides Tim.
Luka Doncic is 45 points.
For another hour?
11 rebounds,
You
13
don't even know what
assists.
awaits me after this.
Klay Thompson,
Oh,
29
sounded
points.
ominous.
Season high, 7 3-pointers made for the Dallas Mavericks. They have won now 12 out of the last 14 games, remaining one of the hottest teams in the association. We really appreciate all of you joining us here on the DLS Mavs post-game show. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. for our regular podcast on DLS Sports. For our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Carella, our Mavericks beat writer who acts like he's got to go do some work, Tim Cato, I am merely your host, Kevin Gray, here on the DLS Mavs post-game show. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 1 p.m. here on DLS Sports. Y'all be good. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.